Jordan waiting for the correct time since that's 2 minutes fast.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council. I hereby call the meeting to order. Steve, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Miles,
Present.
Councilmember Jones,
Present.
Councilmember McBride,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton,
Here.
Mayor Wu.
Here. Thank you. Today I will ask our officially promoted Captain Timmons to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Captain. The Villa Park City Council and staff welcome you to this meeting, and we encourage your participation. If you wish to address the City Council, please complete and submit a speaker card to the City Clerk. Speaker cards can be found at the entrance to the City Council chambers. Speakers will be called individually during the public comment section of the meeting or during the item they wish to speak on. Once the public comment period has concluded for an item, no additional speakers will be taken. Speakers will be limited to a time period of 5 minutes. Speakers were also able to submit comments in writing by 3 p.m. today. Those comments will be placed in the official record. We'll begin our meeting with inviting Villa Park Community Service Foundation President Ed Carter.
And the microphone is on this time. How about that? Thank you for inviting me, Mayor Wu, council members. Our membership chair, Mark Kulai, has prepared a little PowerPoint presentation for you, and after that's complete, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Okay? Thanks. Mark?
All right, I'm right, sorry, behind you. Well, most people here in Villa Park think we have it all. There's one thing we don't have. That's a recreation or community service department. In fact, we're the only city in Orange County that lacks that. So 24 years ago, the council created a nonprofit organization that we are today, the Villa Park Community Services Foundation. The mission then is the same as it is now, back in 2022, to facilitate and fund the social and educational and cultural endeavors that enhance the quality of life in Villa Park. The leadership in Villa Park of the foundation is 13 volunteer board members who meet monthly and work throughout the year. While we're best known for our events, our foundation also awards grants to Villa Park schools and other local organizations that align with our mission. Now, I did mention great events, and annually we plan, manage, and execute more than a dozen of them. And they include, as you'll see, Lunar New Year, Villa Park Earth Day, Spring into Health, concert in the Villa Park, Stars on Parade, 4th of July, the Villa Park Picnic, Symphony on the Go, Villa Park Halloween Fest, Meet the Candidates Night, Villa Park Thanksgiving, and then we close it out with 4 strong events in December: the Santa Tour, the Villa Park Dryland Boat Parade, the Christmas tree lighting, and of course, Hanukkah. All these Villa Park events, all the ones that you attend, all the ones the kids love, the ones that help make Villa Park special, they're not cost-free, and they're not funded by tax dollars either. But not for the but not for the generosity of the Villa Park residents who donate to our foundation with an annual membership, these Villa Park events would not take place. Post-COVID, you'll see here that we have been very successful in our fundraising. In 2025, we raised over $50,000, and that's more than 50%, that's more than 100% more. That's more than double our membership dollars of over just 5 years ago. So successful fundraising takes all of us. February marks the start of our membership campaign, and once again, we'll be sending out our mailers, and we'll be promoting the foundation through our membership and local media. For the 200 families that donated in 2025, I want to say a sincere thank you. For your donations have helped maintain these wonderful Villa Park traditions. And for those that have never donated or haven't donated in several years, please do consider this year as making that donation. In 2026, we're expanding our newest event, the May Spring into Health event, with an added 5K run. And then in the 4th of July, since this will be USA's 250th birthday, we'll be planning to increase our celebration big time here in Villa Park. So this year especially, we need you, all of you, to help us continue the great legacy of Villa Park. Our website, which is recently updated, is where you can go to purchase your membership. There it is. And it's also the place where you can you can learn about all of our events and know how your schools and organizations can apply for grants. And if you've not seen the website, check it out at www.vpcsfoundation.org. And with that, I'll have Ed answer any question.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions?
Silence.
Oh my God, I was expecting some questions. Come on, somebody must be able to think of a question.
Just really a sincere thank you to you, Ed, and you, Mark, and the entire foundation board for all you do for the city. I mean, that's the number one thing we probably hear about is just how great all of these events are, and so you guys make Villa Park what it is. So thank you so
It's
much.
a ton of fun. Love doing it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Hopefully, we will motivate other residents and our community to participate in events or donation and join the membership. The next thing I would like to invite will be Rabbi Naomi coming up. Today, we will recognize, we will recognize January 27th, 2026 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The United Nations General Assembly first designated January 27th as International Holocaust Day in 2005. We encourage residents to take time on this day to learn about the Holocaust, listen to the survivors' testimony, and encourage in meaningful conversations with families, friends, and neighbors. By understanding the past, we help ensure a safer, more inclusive future for the generations to come. Rabbi Naomi, if you could come up, we have a proclamation presented to you from the city. Absolutely.
So, first I'm going to make a slight correction for the record. I am Rebbitzin Naomi, and my husband is the rabbi. And I'm representing tonight. He's visiting a patient in the hospital. I'm here today with Josh, who's a representative of JCAN, which is a very important community organization. I just wanted to share a few words. Tonight we honor the Holocaust Remembrance Day. Speaking up matters, and saying the right thing matters. And history has shown us that silence allows hatred to grow, and we will not allow another Holocaust to happen again. Tonight we also honor our last hostage to return, Ron Givley of blessed memory. The Jewish community in the United States grants us the freedoms to allow us to live openly and proudly as Jews. Here we are able to be public with our faith, our identity, our values, and we do not take that for granted. Tonight, I wear a necklace that belonged to a Holocaust survivor, Dr. Jacob Eisenbach. It was gifted to me last year in honor of my birthday. He passed away just recently at the age of 102, and he was a resident of Villa Park. It bears the word chai, which means life. This necklace is more than jewelry. It is a symbol that the Jewish people are alive. We have life, joy, resilience, and we have hope. We will never stop being openly Jewish. We will never stop choosing light over darkness. And this city Villa Park, it stands as an example. Each year, it hosts a public Hanukkah celebration proudly celebrating Jewish life. And I want to thank, from the very beginning, City Council member Crystal Miles, who has partnered with us. She was the very first one approached to make sure that we had a menorah lighting, which she right away agreed. And now, a few years later, just a handful of years later, we have over 100 people attending this menorah lighting with the tremendous help of Mayor Jordan Wu and our amazing City Council members and the Villa Park Community Services Foundation and President Ed Carter. And so we really appreciate that tremendous success that we've had. Just want to end by a little bit of light dispels a great deal of darkness, and together, by speaking up, standing strong, we ensure the light continues and that we continue to have the freedoms that we love about our country. So thank you so much for this honor.
Please accept my sincere apology. I do not know the proper term, male and female term, so I do apologize for that.
Okay, 1, 2.
All right, the next report would be from our Sheriff Department. Captain.
Thank you, Mayor Wu and council members. Update for the calls service for December 10th to January 25th, 2026. We had 226 total calls for service. That was down about 20. 16 total reports taken, criminal and non-criminal. Crimes against persons, there was 2, and crimes against property and society, there were 9. Injury traffic accidents, there were 2. Non-injury, there were 1. 47 moving citations and 14 parking citations. The crimes against persons, that was domestic violence and child abuse cases. And the crimes against property, we had a possession of a firearm, drugs, and counterfeit money. You may have seen the social media update on that. And that was a very great case that it was just proactiveness by the deputies driving around, pulled somebody over and found all of that, was able to make an arrest. So that was a great an arrest by them, by our patrol deputies. We also had a possession of drugs that our deputies proactively found driving around. There was a theft, report of theft. There were some stolen e-bikes that, again, our deputies did some great police work. They were able to track them down, recover some property, and actually make an arrest in that case. We had a retail store theft and some identity theft and burglaries, both from a residence and some theft of equipment, and vandalism with some spray paint on the wall and mail theft. And I'd also like to share an update on the ATM distraction theft that we talked about last month. Our North Operations investigators arrested 3 suspects in connection with that large-scale ATM distraction theft operation linked to multiple cases across California. Following a multi-week investigation, our investigators used surveillance footage, real-time operations center resources, search warrants, and other investigative techniques to identify a suspect vehicle and uncovered a consistent pattern of coordinated thefts occurring in Orange, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento counties. The suspects were taken into custody on January 6 and booked in on multiple felony charges, including grand theft, identity theft, forgery, after being linked to numerous additional victims statewide. They're actually still seeking additional victims from that arrest, so there should be a actual press release that's put out pretty soon about that, so that if there are additional victims related to that, then we hopefully will identify them. And that all stems just from that one report for right here in Villa Park, our investigators looking into that and doing great police work and tracking those suspects down. So that's all I have to share.
Thank you. Any council member and anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was curious to see if the apprehension of the counterfeiters involved the license plate readers or from outlying areas, and then they came through Villa Park, or?
Are you speaking of the ATM distraction that I just talked about, or the
social media events you were talking about?
that one? I believe was just a car stop. I don't believe there was any license plate readers involved in that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mine's not necessarily a question. I figure you guys probably like to hear some positive feedback every once in a while. So, my husband and I have been trying to walk more, and so we'll come up and have a little bite to eat, and there were some kids that were riding some e-bikes, and I didn't say anything. I just kind of watched them, and they were young. I ended up talking to them. They were freshmen at Villa Park High School, and they immediately, got off their bikes, and they parked it on the side away, not on the sidewalk, and I overheard them saying, oh no, we can't park here, we have to put it over here. And so my husband, of course, was mortified, and I was like, I'm going to go talk to him. So I said, hey, wow, you guys really understand what's going on with the e-bikes, and thank you, and how did you know that? And they said, oh, we had to go to the library to get our permit, and blah, blah, blah. So, hats off to you. And I know Deputy McDermott, I think, is now no longer here as our SRO, but his impact is still present. So if you want to pass that on, and thank you, because obviously it is making an impact. There are still some that are violators, but I just wanted to share with you that it is making a difference. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. I will pass that along to him. And the new SRO that's coming in, Adriana Vasquez, we hope to continue that trend of e-bike, just passing on that knowledge and education to those e-bikers so we can continue to, keep them safe.
And it was nice to have some kids that were respectful and understood the importance and didn't know who I was, and so they did it anyways, so that was nice.
Absolutely.
And another kudos, this is twice now since I've been on council where a car is randomly driving through Villa Park and your deputies pull it over and find all kinds of paraphernalia and guns and stuff. You guys know how to pull over. I don't know how you do it. That is a skill set I do not have, and I'm just impressed that that you guys are so well trained that you can scout out the bad guys. So thank you and keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
I certainly hope you will never pull over anybody, though. So thank you so much for your service, and I will like to echo Councilwoman Miles mentioned about the SRO. I personally have taken that experience from SRO McDermott and introduced to Kenyon High School. Next month, we are inviting the SRO in Anaheim to Kenyon High School to do the same e-bike presentation to their students and also middle school El Rancho. So this is all coming from your department. Unfortunately, your department doesn't in charge of Anaheim, so I had to outsource somewhere else. So, but I just want to share that with you. Without that event, I wouldn't know about differences between all different categories of e-bike, and now I'm trying to bring it to another high school that my daughter goes to. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
I would like to invite our Orange County Fire Authority Chief.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Mike Morgenstern, your new Division Chief for Division 4 and for Villa Park, and thank you for having us. So for the incidents from December 16th, 2025 to January 26th, 2026, there were 6 incidents within the city of Villa Park, all of which were medical aid responses from Station 23 and adjoining areas to respond in the city of Buena Park. 36 were. 24 miscellaneous calls, which you consider odor checks, hazardous conditions, auto alarms, assisting the citizens with other miscellaneous things within the city. And our safety message. Our safety message for this month is appropriate due to the weather that we have outside right now. It's not as cold as back east or in the south. We're lucky there, right? But it is a time of year to check your smoke alarms and make sure your carbon monoxide detectors are working. This month, OCFA would like to remind you to check your smoke alarms. Almost 2/3 of all home fires occur in homes with no working smoke alarms. Smoke alarms will reduce your risk of dying in a home fire by over 50%. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside every bedroom, and in the hallways and in your common areas. Do not install your smoke alarms in kitchens and or outside bathrooms due to steam will activate it since they're particulate. Check your manufacturer's date on the smoke alarm when you buy it, and make sure after 10 years, go buy a new one. It's time to get a new one. Check your smoke alarm once a month and replace your batteries every 6 months. If the alarm sounds, make sure everybody gets out of the house. Make sure you get structure. Make sure you have a home plan to exit the building, whatever building you're in, whether it's your office building or your home. Ensure that everybody gets out safely, efficiently, and effectively towards the outside, and wait for the fire department to show up. On the carbon monoxide piece of it, this is a great time of year to call a professional in to check your heater. Make sure your heater's working correctly. Make sure your connections are connected at the gas main. Make sure your filter's changed, and make sure your exhaust ports are working correctly. And if it's time to update your heater, update your heater. Okay, for that piece of it. But the other part of it is, in a lot of homes in Villa Park, the older homes, most of them have their own chimneys, real chimneys, okay? Ensure that your flue is open. Don't let that carbon monoxide or smoke, and you'll see it, but you may not see all of it as your fire starts to dwindle in your fireplace as you go to bed at night. It won't produce that smoke that you see during the high point of your fire. So it will create carbon monoxide within your structure. So just ensure that your flue is open, stays open, lets all that gases, hot gases, and cold gases rise through your chimney and exit so it doesn't stay in your house. Thank you.
Thank you. Any
I
comments?
have a quick question. This is just, you see online and on social media and stuff about those blankets that when you're cooking, and if there's a grease fire or whatever, and there's these blankets that they sell, and you're supposed to keep them right near your kitchen somewhere so you can smother the fire, versus, say, one of a small fire extinguisher. So which one does OCFA recommend?
They each have their appropriate use. In a kitchen fire, in a grease fire, we do not want you to use an extinguisher because what the extinguisher will have is propellant, right? And so it'll actually spread your fire to your cabinets, to your drapes, curtains, or your hand towels or something that's combustible near there. So you could use the fire blankets, but at a cost, right? So they do cost money to keep replacing. They're one-time use only. So that's a good recommendation. The other piece is if you always cook, if you're going to be cooking a frying pan or something with open grease, always keep that lid that goes to that frying pan nearby, because it's just as simple as turn off the stove, put the lid on top of it. Now you took away the heat source and you've took away the oxygen. The fire triangle is not complete, and now your fire is going to go out.
So, thank you. Just to follow up from our cooking conversations earlier. So, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear comments from members of the public to address any agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council, provided that no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. We will also be hearing public comments on each agenda items. Steve, is there anyone that is present or wrote in from the public that would like to comment on an off-agenda item?
No, Mayor.
That's easy. That's moving right along. Now we will move into our agendized public hearing. Our first hearing is the review to waive reading in full of all ordinances and resolutions on the agenda. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the item we have on each month to allow us to have efficient and conduct timely city council meetings, and we'd recommend approval.
Council member, do you have any questions of staff?
I'll move the item.
Second?
All right, let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Okay. Our next hearing is the final reading of Ordinance 2025-639 regarding the adoption of the 2025 Building Standards Code. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you. You recall that in December 16th that we adopted, the council adopted, had the first reading of the building standards codes, which in our case are deferential to the recommendations of the Orange County Fire Authority and the State Fire Code. This will be the second reading, although technically our ordinance does not go into effect till 30 days after adoption, should your council approve it today. These effectively went into place on January 1st with the adoption of the California building standards codes in 2025 as part of state actions. So these codes include updated versions of the administrative code, the building code, the residential code, the electrical code, mechanical code, plumbing code, energy code, historical building code, fire code, existing building code, green building standards code, and referenced standards code. So this is all relevant and consistent with state law and fire authority recommendations. So with that, we would recommend approval.
Council member, do you have any questions of staff? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak at this hearing?
No, Mayor.
The public comment section for this item is now closed. Council member, is there any discussion regarding this item? And, okay, any motion?
I'll move it.
Second? All right, let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
All right. Now we will consider our consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and are usually enacted by one motion approving the action listed on the agenda. Any member of City Council, staff, or the public may request an item be removed from the consent calendar for discussion or separate action. Council members, are there any items from number 3 to 9 that you would like to remove from the consent calendar?
Mayor, can we remove 9, please?
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. I have agenda item 9 to be pulled from the consent calendar. Can we have a motion to vote?
I'll move the balance.
Second?
Okay, let's vote.
Passes 5-0 vote. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Miles?
This is really dumb, but if you open up, the item and it says, and so I'm trying to get, understand where on the recommendation, under recommendation number 2, authorize staff to appropriate additional $35,000 from general fund for plan check costs. But up in the description, it says, recommended that an amendment to the existing VCA contract of $30,000 to increase the not to exceed contract amount by $20,000 for a total of $50,000. So I'm just, where the 35,000, do you understand? What?
Yes,
Where's
I
the 35,000 coming from?
We use 3 contractors for the purposes of plan check. So we budgeted $65,000 in total. So the VCA contract, which is the one in specifically that we're addressing for $20,000, is part of those 3. So in total, we need to increase it $35,000 to cover the totality of all 3 contracts, the utilization. So and on the budgetary, we were being optimistic about $65,000, which did not come in at that point. We're going to come in higher. So in essence, the $35,000 will cover the entirety of the increases. $20,000 is for the specific contract.
Because thank you, I was trying to figure out the math on why is it 35 all of a sudden when we're talking about increasing it by 20, et cetera. So I have no problem with, I just couldn't understand the math, so that was why. So I'm happy to.
I had the same question when I first saw it. I thought,
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
it doesn't work, but I'm happy to move it if anyone else is.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, let's vote.
Passes by 5-0 vote. Thank you.
All right, moving on along. Item 10. Our first item of new business is to receive and file the audit reports for year ended June 30th, 2025. Staff, please give staff report.
Thank you. Each year, we're required by law to have a financial audits conducted, and the audits are contained in the audited standards. I'm sorry, the government auditing standards they have to meet with. So every year we do this, and as you recall, we contract out for an independent auditor to look at all of our books. This year, consistent with the past 8-9 years I've been here, we've received a clean report with no exceptions, which is very good. This means that our transactions are consistent and complying with the government accounting requirements. So we are required, we will post these online. This will be posted once the city council approves it. Every city in the state does that, and we submit it to the state as well. So this is just a process, but it's good to get a clean report. Let me just say that. It's very good, and I would recommend approval.
Great. Council, any questions for the staff? All right. Steve, anyone here present or roll in?
No, Mayor.
All right. Then do I have any motions?
Move to approve?
Second. All right, let's vote.
This passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our next item of new business is regarding the contract of our pavement management plan update. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you. Measure M2, which is you require the countywide ordinance that, I guess it's a countywide ordinance that allows there to be a half extra sales tax that's charged to all residents, basically requires that we provide annually a pavement management index for each of our streets. We independently contract with those, and you'll recall that PCI is what we've referred to it. Pavement Condition Index is the common phrase, scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the best. We go out to bid every year with it, and this year we went out to bid, and 2 firms provided a bid. It is correct. It's not a typo. I'm going to mispronounce it, but Marker Geospatial, and that's with a small m and a small g, because that was sort of a typo, we thought. It is not. And Buckman Infrastructure, Marker Geospatial is the low bid, and we'd recommend approval of the contract. The report will be coming back, and you'll have that report, share that with the council when completed.
Great. Council, have any questions?
I have a question, thank you. Have we used this company before?
Have we what?
Have we used this company before?
No, we have not used them before.
And do we know if anyone in our,
Yeah, but we've checked their references, and they're all valid.
okay, because it just seems like a big significant gap between the 2 proposals that it kind of makes you wonder, 10 grand, that's kind of a
Well, I
lot.
think a larger firm probably has the ability to, well, I can't say how large Buckman is, but a large enough firm probably doesn't have the same overhead that they can carry. So I'm guessing that they could probably do it efficiently, and that's their bid. But it's legitimate. We've checked their references,
Okay,
and we would recommend approval.
okay, that's it, thank you.
Council?
So I'd also like to ask if this pavement management plan also is incorporated into our pavement condition assessment, because we have the sealing and improvements that are used. Do we pull out of different funds?
This is the index that we use primarily to identify which streets need the priority treatment, if you will.
And it looked like this contractor had a very sophisticated laser LiDAR method to hit it. So we now have a very strong metric for
Right.
exactly whose streets are going to get repaired
Right.
when.
And we keep in mind that some streets are done, we add streets in that may not be the lowest, but they are staged area because we try and hit areas that are pockets, if you will, so that you don't have going one street, then going over 6 blocks and doing another street. So sometimes we will mesh streets that are close. So it isn't strictly based on the index, but it's also based on streets that we know in the next couple of years we'll need to, so as well. But you're right, I think this is it's becoming more and more sophisticated. Years ago, they just used to do it because they drove the streets and they looked at them. And they gave us an index, and that was depending on who did it, you got an index that varied. So you're right, it's becoming much more sophisticated.
Just really quick on the background for the staff report, it says that this Marco Geospatial has completed the city's last 4 pavement condition evaluations.
I think they did it under a different title. I've never seen that title. It might have been a different corporation or whatever. So it might have been the people they used, but I'm not aware of the company being called Marco Geospatial.
Oh, okay, because that's what made, because I thought the same thing. I thought the disparity in the quotes was dramatic, but when I saw that they had completed the city's last 4 pavement condition evaluations, I felt
I
more
think
comfortable.
they were a different firm at the time, potentially. So it
The
would be,
same people.
I think that's the case.
You have an impressive list of references that runs from San Diego all the way up to LA, and it seems like the personnel is very tightly knit, and they come out of Colorado, but when you look at their references, they're doing a lot of local cities.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, sorry about this. Councilman?
My question was asked and answered. I was wondering, how do they do it? And it's, the LiDAR and it's not just visual.
It's not just going around visual. It's not a visual check anymore. It was years ago, but they've now become much more sophisticated in evaluation.
Okay. Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you. Let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last item of new business is in regard to the approval of the hauling agreement for Mayberry 22 project. Staff, please give staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. As you will all recall, on January 13th, the Orange City Council approved a dirt hauling permit related to the Mayberry 22 project. The Mayberry 22 project is the building and construction of 22 homes on the easternmost portion of Mayberry. That CEQA and environmental work was completed in, I believe, 2019 and certified. So in essence, we heard the details, so I apologize. We heard the details a day before, the specific details of this agreement a day before. It was approved by the Orange City Council unanimously. This permit allows for the transportation of 130,000 cubic yards of dirt into the easternmost portion of Mayberry Ranch, with the primary road being the Catella off-ramp through to the 55 freeway to Catella off-ramp through Villa Park all the way down to past Cannon and to approximately, I don't know what, Nicky Way, I guess it's a little further down, and the construction of a temporary bridge that will go into that portion of Mayberry. The secondary hauling route would involve, as a secondary alternate, would involve that same exit from the freeway going eastbound and then turning up Cannon and going through Mayberry on through Yellowstone. That is an alternate route that is being proposed. So the route is 130,000. They are, the estimates are 30 trucks a day will be traveling anywhere from 80 to 240 trips a day of track. These are the heavy two-axle tractor double bottom trailers carrying soil, and they will go through. So they basically approved this, and we heard last minute. So we were forced to respond very quickly to the Orange City Council agenda items. So we drafted a letter requesting that the item either be continued or voted negatively against it. And that was presented to the City Council that night by the mayor and the mayor pro tem, who both testified on behalf of the city, and I believe Councilman McBride was also in attendance. This item was passed 7-0 unanimously with very little consent or discussions. The only issues that came up with respect to Villa Park, where there was any real sympathy, was the potential for a crossing guard. And that through Councilman Bilodeau, I believe, also said that what conditions that they were approved for Orange should also mirror, and Villa Park should get those same considerations. So what we have since that time is worked with City of Orange to find out the exact and get the detail on their conditions that were approved. So the conditions you see there, which constitute 17 different items, or 16 different items, 17, but 16 are mirroring Villa Park, mirroring Orange's conditions. The additional one that they did give us, based on the testimony of the mayor and mayor pro tem, was the addition of a pedestrian crossing guard during school hours on Center and Villa Park Road. And they'll pay for it. Now, some of the more important thing is that the city will be collecting a cash bond to ensure against loss of payment life during the permit. Now, this is a 6-month permit, and transportation will happen 5 days a week during the weekdays, between 8:30 and 3:30 during the day, so Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. They are, if you do the math, if there are potentially 240 truck daily trips, this is probably talking every 2 to 3 minutes you'll see a big truck crossing through. Listening to them, they say there's a 5-minute staging time, but I can't work the math and come up with 240 that way. So they're saying more likely it's somewhere in the range of 80 trips a day. So it remains to be seen. They want to start this, they intended to start this January 19th, but there's a lot of approvals required and the bonds, et cetera, required. Some of the other significant things, they have agreed to temporarily fix any potholes that occur on the immediacy, and they're using a hot patch method instead of just pouring asphalt cold in. The permit will be 6 months, and from the date of issuance. They will provide street sweeping on a daily basis and a $5,000 deposit to allow for, to ensure that any extra work has to be done to keep the street clean. I'm trying to think of any other, the crossing guard, any violation will be, now we are requiring a bond. We are in the process of calculating a bond, which is something that's a challenge because we have to determine the percentage impact that they will have on additional daily trips. So we're meeting tomorrow with to try and get some exactitude about what that would be. It's a cash bond, meaning we would have the money in hand. So that would be our money and we deposit it. So when and if we do need to fix something, we would have the money there. It isn't something we'd have to go ask for. They have been in contact with us. I've been in contact with the sheriff regarding the crossing guards. The sheriff does our crossing guards, as you know. Now, they have a contract, and Captain Timmons has informed me that they have a contract for crossing guards, which does not allow for them to contract, but we can have a side agreement. So I've got to call into that firm to see about getting us a crossing guard for us, paid for at their expense. Again, this was not something approved or even considered by the council prior to. It was approved unanimously, and in talking to the staff at Orange, including the city manager, there is absolutely no interest in taking up any other additional considerations. Because this is a major arterial highway, we have no ability to eliminate them from the road. We can't stop them from going on our roads. So we don't have that ability. We have some other potential charges we will be getting and talking to them, but I don't want to go into those at this point until we are at a point where we've got agreement signed and what they're doing. So at this point, again, I can answer a limited number of questions, but I think if people have some real questions, they ought to be posing them to the City of Orange, which approved this, without the consent or advocacy or involvement or engagement of the Villa Park Council or staff. And I want to make that really clear. This was not something originated, approved, engaged. We didn't have input. This was done. So we are at a point where we are now, I liken it to one of the council members, we're trying to make sour lemonade from a lot of sour lemons that we've been given. And that's about the best we're going to do at this point. So this action tonight is to approve the hauling agreement. They still have a lot of work to get the bond and all that kind of stuff. So I would expect probably a week or two before any kind of work, transportation will happen. But that's it, and I can answer any questions at this point. But tonight, the action would be to approve the hauling agreement as mirroring the conditions set forth by the City of Orange.
Okay, and Councilwoman Jones? I think it's after. Yeah, question right now.
Yeah, I would just like to emphasize, I feel that in the background of this agenda item, city staff was too kind in saying that we heard about it days before. We heard about it the day before and late in the day before. So we literally had hours to scramble a response, and I would really like to commend our city staff, Mayor Wu and Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton, for getting everything together so fast and preparing such a great presentation to the Orange City Council, because we really were completely in the dark on this until the very last moment. And so the fact too that the Mayor Pro Tem, sacrificed their entire evening to be there and to make our voice heard. I really want to thank you for that. I would also like to ask city staff if we will be working with our sheriff traffic enforcement officers to make sure that these trucks are traveling along Villa Park Road per the agreement, which means that they're either, wet down, only filled to a certain level and wet down, or covered, because we don't want our residents to be subjected to extra dirt and debris on their house. So are we going to arrange?
Yes, we will. In fact, the other condition is that each and every truck must have a copy of the permit in their truck. So we have a motor that will be doing a lot of work on Villa Park Road in the next few months. Yes.
Okay, because, there was a lot of concern from residents who live along the route that, their yards were just going to be covered with dirt and debris.
Yeah, they either have to have wet down the loads or cover the load with earth material. So that's coming and going.
Yes. Okay, so we will be enforcing that. And I just would like to publicly just register my disappointment with the City of Orange and how this was handled, because we have always had a good neighbor policy with the City of Orange, with our fellow council members, with their staff, and the fact that they just didn't even notify us, just let us find it out just, through, friends, is the only reason we even found out about this. And I think that's ridiculous. I really am completely disheartened by that. So I just wanted to register my
So
displeasure.
I
with
would
the
like to
City of
add,
Orange.
this is not the last of the projects we're going to be seeing in East Orange. The Sully Miller property is going to be dedicated as open space by the developer, and that dirt has to be hauled in and out because there's toxic or contaminated dirt. I don't know if it's toxic. I know it's contaminated dirt because it used to be a landfill. So that will have to be transported, and that is a much, much larger project than 22 homes will be. And that hauling agreement, and I've already talked to the city manager over there, who was apparently meeting with the developer this week, and I said, this is not going to catch us by surprise. What's the saying? Shame on us if it fools us twice, and that's not going to happen. So I just wanted everyone to be aware that that's a bigger project and that is forthcoming. And we will be doing everything at that point, including potentially trying to do a rerouting, if you will, or at least a percentage rerouting, something that was not done in this case. This was simply done on an expedited case to maximize the efficiency for the haulers.
Any other?
I'm probably going to reiterate a lot of the things were said, but I was such a coiled spring and wanted to say my piece, but you guys all did it so well. But it's a lot. It's a lot of dirt. We're talking, like Steve said, a truck every 3 minutes every day for 6 months. And then, as he mentioned, Sully Miller, the dirt coming out, we're talking a truck every 3 minutes for 2 years to get rid of all that dirt, because it's 5 times the amount of dirt that's going in for these 22 homes. And then on top of that, they're going to build 30 homes where the fruit stand and the horse arena is. Hopefully not much dirt movement, but there's still going to be traffic because of that. So I do hope that you and the city manager over there at Orange, what's that guy's name? Jared Hildebrand, if we can get him, when they take the dirt away from Sully Miller, at least we'll take a third, maybe a third to Hughes, a third to Jamboree. Let's share the load. Let's not kill us.
And I want to reiterate, that percentage was not even considered in this discussion. So Orange had predetermined what the route was going to be with the hauler. There was no discussion with the city of Villa Park in advance. And in fact, we only heard about it when we saw the agenda item the day before.
And you know, since I've been on council for 1 year, we worked together on Saravilla. We worked together with that Cannon project. And I think that our city staffs can work very well together on these things. And you had mentioned, Steve, that whenever you recalibrate the traffic signals along Villa Park Road, you confer with City of Orange and are good neighbors, as we should be. And I know that the City of Orange Council tells their residents who pull a permit or a variance or a CUP, as we do, make sure you communicate with your neighbors. Let them know what's going on. And that's all we ask, is communicate with your neighbors. So along with Councilwoman Jones, I want to express that it was disappointing. But I do want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Bilodeau, who did put the developer on the spot and asked them to come up to the microphone and say on the record that they would do the same for us as they did for Orange. So I thank Dennis for that, and the Mayor Slater was an advocate, as was city manager and the other council people. And big hats off to our mayor. This guy was like a tornado through City of Orange's council chambers. He found the developer. Come on, we got to talk to these guys. He found D.R. Horton. Hey, we got to talk to this guy. As they recessed, he was tackling every single one of their city council people and said, let's talk to him. So, Mayor Will, you did a great job of getting us to each and every person and advocating our position. And I don't think we would have had any success without you. So thank you.
So if I could just reiterate, this was passed unanimously by the Council of Orange. There were no dissenting votes. So just for the record, this was not a disputed item there. This was passed with a relatively easy vote, I would say. I don't think there was any, the discussion was just about a few conditions.
Thank you. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor for going on our behalf. I'm sure you guys had better stuff to do, and I know you had to drop everything. So I think it was really great that you guys were there, being forward-facing and letting the council members know that this is not okay. So I appreciate that. You guys were probably a lot nicer than perhaps Nicole and I would have been. So thank you guys for that. This kind of brings up, and again, and I'm with all of you. You know, this is really disappointing. I know a lot of the council members. I've been on council for 8 years. I mean, but you know, it's really disappointing and extremely sad, honestly, that they didn't have any kind of consideration for us as their neighbors, as just, you know, other fellow electeds who are going to get the phone calls and we're going to get yelled at. So. I have one or two questions, but one of my concerns, and this is something I term out in 11 months or whatever, so knowing that we have more of this going on in the future, it's going to sound weird, but what is the likelihood, because my concern is once everybody starts seeing all those trucks, guess what? They're going to come down Center, they're going to come down Lemon, they're going to go up Taft, they're going to go Santiago, and all of a sudden our traffic and everything going on is going to increase a lot. So how hard is it to gate off a whole entire city to resident only? That's one. But as far as the traffic on Villa Park Road and the timing of the signals, and as we all know, anyone that's ever tried to get onto the 55, more so it's bad when you're going south, not so much when you're going north. However, you have all the people that do this whole maneuvering to try and cut in line because it goes all the way back past a couple lights. Can we talk with the City of Orange of maybe working on the timing of that signal right there at the freeway, both in front of it and behind it? So then that way, you know, that truck that's probably equivalent to, I don't know, 5 or 6 car lengths, that could take, you know, 2 whole cycles for it to get through. So is there any way we can ask them to look at the timing on that and maybe increase it so we can get some of that congestion through?
So I have spoken to them on multiple occasions. If you recall, they just redid that intersection when they did the median a few years ago. So there is no interest at all in them doing that adjustment. You'll recall we have no control over the intersection because our jurisdiction ends at Wanda. So everything west of Wanda, which is where you're in front of the school district, that light, and then the light further down, that's it. I've talked to them about why can you put just another turn lane onto the freeway, because that would remove that long line that always appears. They don't have any interest in pursuing that discussion.
Well, maybe they would now, just because hopefully there's a little tiny bit of Jewish guilt that we can put on them because they didn't notify us. They put us in a really bad.
I had this discussion just the other day.
I'm
Their-
trying.
No, I agree. Their argument was the traffic will be coming southbound, so the trucks will be getting off on the west side of the 55 and just will be coming through. So they'll be affected just by the lights. It won't be the people coming northbound, because the traffic will be no different coming northbound.
Clearly, they've never traveled that.
I know, I'm sharing what they're, so they are, I mean, we'll continue to reiterate, especially with the additional construction and things they're talking about down the road, but at this point, there is no interest on the part of the city to do anything.
Well, it wouldn't, my point is if we could just mention it one more time to say, hey, that way at least we can say that we've mentioned it one more time. So that's my comment, but thank you guys for doing that.
So a couple of clarifications. I did attend the meeting, and it was fun to sit in the audience and watch the superior performances of our mayor and mayor pro tem. And I echo all their comments that it was really that full court press that secured us what we had, because we would have had nothing before. Second thing is that it lists scenario 2, which is the turn onto Cannon, going by an additional segment of Villa Park and then turning into Mayberry Ranch at Serrano. And so nobody favors that. And D.R. Horton, their operations guy, expressed that very, very emphatically, because they don't want the Mayberry Ranch going absolutely crazy. And it's a longer route for them, and very, steep and hard turns and difficult. So the chance of it happening are very slim. But
But it wasn't ruled out, so that's important. It was not eliminated. as an
they
option.
claimed they had to have a backup plan incorporated into this agreement. So that was the quote backup, because they're creating a land bridge over Santiago Creek. So that's how their route is only made possible by cutting through the Sully Miller property and crossing the creek to deliver the soil to the other side where the 22 homes are built. The numbers and the durations are fluid. When I spoke to the operations manager of D.R. Horton, he indicated that if they did the 3-minute scenario, they should be done in 42 days. He says it won't happen. And so the 6 months is incorporated into the agreement because that's closer to the reality of what the actual schedule will be, and it's not going to be this constant parade necessarily. It might be a 15-minute duration, even though, believe me, it's going to seem like a constant parade even at those kind of time frames. And then the third thing is that all communities are under extreme pressure to show improvements on housing and developing housing districts, et cetera. So there's always a behind-the-scenes agenda in referencing the unanimous agreement. This project has been on the boards for a long time. It has been cut down to just the 22 homes going in. However, Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton's correct about the other 30. And believe me, this is not the end of it when you talk about East Orange, because you have the Irvine Company project slated to bring 1,000 homes up at the top of Jamboree. So this is not the end of our concerns or worries, and at least we got what I consider to be a fair deal, if not ideal. So, for what it's worth, 30 acres of open space gets rid of the toxic soils, and it's the best we got.
Councilman McBride brings up a good point. They're building a temporary land bridge off Santiago, over Santiago Creek, over Santa Ana Canyon Road over Santiago Creek. Which interesting is they have all the environmental approvals already. So this is not something that is like last minute 11th hour approvals. They had all the state environmental and everything approvals secured in hand prior to their vote on January 13th. So unbeknownst to us, this was all approved and worked on for a considerable amount of time before we saw anything. So I think just want to reiterate, this was something that is not something that was a last-minute project to propose to throw on board. They had to go through a extensive process, as you know, when you work with those environmental agencies to get that kind of approval is pretty amazing. So they've spent some significant hours on that.
And I wonder if they're still going to find a way to say the bridge is not doable so they don't have to pay for it. But, we'll see. Time will tell. One thing the developer mentioned, the bad cop, not the good cop, as they were running that shenanigans with us, is that City of Orange passed an ordinance something like 6 months ago where these hauling permits, dirt hauling permits, are no longer going to be coming before City Council, but will be a ministerial city staff issue, and that they were planning on suing if they didn't pass it because they were violating their own ordinance, was their feeling, the developer, which makes me think if it's ministerial, holy cow, we're not going to even have a chance to know it's on an agenda for the City of Orange. So we've really got to keep a good relationship with, who's that guy again? What's his, Jared something, to find out what's going on so that we can say our piece and have our part in it. And then my last thing on this topic is I bought our mayor dinner that night because he didn't have his wallet, and I don't want to fill out a Form 700. So I don't want to fill out a Form 700, so I'm just to say it publicly that I paid for his meal.
Before you vote, we did have Patty Whitman. I don't know if you wanted to speak on this item, or was it?
Can I ask one more question before Patty starts? What happens if we don't approve it?
We can't stop them from getting on our roads because it's a major arterial highway. So we have no access. We have no control over it. Potentially, well, Todd can go into what that means.
It means they're still coming.
I know, but I'm saying just if we
We
said
wouldn't get the
no,
conditions. We wouldn't get the conditions, and they're still driving the trucks through, bottom line.
would they sue us?
They would likely argue they don't need it because we have no entitlement authority, and it is illegal under the California Vehicle Code to prohibit access to our roadway system. So they probably wouldn't sue us. They would make us sue them to say that they needed it.
It's a major arterial road, so
Yeah, well,
that's,
a lot of funding comes from the county, and that's a whole separate issue.
And that is a beautiful segue into what I was just going to say about Measure M. I don't know if you're familiar with it, right?
Slightly.
Well, it's important. It actually was a measure that was passed by the Orange County voters. It's a half-cent sales tax, and it's specifically for road improvement measures. So I would implore the city council to partner with the city of Orange and see what Measure M funds we have as a city, as well as Orange, who also benefits from Measure M. So we share a lot of roads with the city of Orange. Measure M would be a beautiful place for us to come together and go, okay, we've got this funds voted on by, the citizens of Orange County, and we have these Measure M funds. How can we use them, with all the things that you've been talking about, trucks coming in and out, dirt hauling. So I just wanted to implore the city council to look at Measure M, see what funds we've been allotted by that half-cent sales tax that we're all paying for. So we expect to see some results and see our roads and our highways and egresses, ingresses, in good shape. So I think this is a great opportunity with the discussion that I heard with the city of Orange to look and see what Measure M can do for us.
adding on that, Patty, Measure M and the participation with Orange put beautiful paving up on Sarah Villa.
Yes, they did.
Worked out really well.
So, I mean, I hear that there's maybe a little discourse with the city of Orange and the communication. I think this might be a nice bridge to communicate with them and partner with them. Look at Measure M, see what funds they have, what funds we have received in Villa Park, and, marry the two. I think it could be a good partnership. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other speakers?
Well, can I kind of wasn't.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Any other speakers, Steve? No. Okay.
So I was just trying to get, I guess, the forward-facing public perception.
Mm-hmm.
If we all say, okay, yes, and they're going to do it anyways, I feel like our residents would kind of feel like, well, why did you say yes? You know what I mean? So if we do, I'm just asking, if we say, no, you know what, we're going to vote no because we don't like it. is there some sort of legal repercussion that we could face if we said, no, we're not passing it because we know you're going to do it anyways, you don't need us, and we want to tell our residents we 100% disagree with this?
Well, we would lose all the conditions that we have agreed. They wouldn't sign either. So if we didn't sign, they
Okay.
don't sign. So the bond that we would get for road repair would be
Okay.
disappear. That would be disappearing, and any sort of crossing guard funding reimbursement gone.
So, point of clarification, we're not agreeing whether they can or cannot. We're agreeing to allow you to negotiate to get
We're-
the
you're-
bond, the crossing guard, the da-da-da-da-da.
Yes, you're agreeing to allow me
We're
to
not
sign the
saying
agreement to get
in
those
or out.
conditions in
We're
place.
saying,
Yeah.
you know, we're agreeing,
I misunderstood.
make an agreement on our behalf is what we're voting on.
Thank you
So
for
we're getting the same
clarification.
conditions at a minimum that Orange got.
Okay.
That's what you
Yeah.
are voting on tonight, that we get the same conditions
Misunderstood that.
at a minimum.
Okay, so we are clear on what we are voting on. Pretty much, we're voting on the 17 items as listed, allowing our city staff to negotiate with the truck.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all right, let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
All right, fantastic, thank you. Now we will discuss the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items, just so you know, I've had some discussions with Axon, which is the alternate provider for license plate readers, and next discussion is on Thursday. And so we hope to bring, because they did not originally submit a bid, I'd have to come back to the council, but I will be coming back to them hopefully in February, March, depending on how our discussions go with the license plate readers. Very optimistic about the cost and the technology that's being proposed, so that's a plus. And that's on the agenda. Secondly, I did want to mention, just there's obviously a lot of other things going on in the city, but probably near and dear to my heart, and probably your all heart, on February 13th, Mike Knowles will be leaving us, and we are having a celebration in that afternoon from 1 to 4 in this very chamber, where people can come and say goodbye, and on a personal level, because I think Mike knows everybody, so I think he'd appreciate anyone who would like to stop in. But I did want to mention that we have some Sergio's out there too, so I would encourage people to introduce themselves to Sergio if he's out. You see him in the streets. Many of you already have. A very nice young man, and I think he plans to be here with us for a while. But losing Mike is a big loss for the city, and I just wanted to let everybody know because there was some uncertainty. But Mike has some things he needs to take care of that will happen in the week thereafter of his retirement. So it looks like that's pretty firm date right at this point. So we sent out a note on the feeder yesterday. So if you didn't get it, please contact us if you have any questions. We're also trying to put together a book that Alyssa's been working on. So if people have pictures, we have pictures of Mike 39 years ago, which is kind of interesting. But he looks very different than he does right now. But if you want to get something in there, we asked for last Friday, but obviously we'll take some last minute because we've extended out a little bit if you have something. So that's a very big issue for a lot of people here, and I wanted to just make sure that was publicized tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Our first item, Mayor and Council members matters is consideration of the 2026 City Council Committee assignments. Staff, please give your staff report.
Thank you. This is an item that comes every year in January where the City Council reconsiders the appointments to the various committees and commissions and whatnot that are out there that there have direct appointments to the city from the City Council. The mayor typically gets input from each of the council members, and they come forward with a recommended, he or she comes forward with a recommended slate. We do have a public speaker, Patty Whitman, so I will defer to the mayor and to the council. This is a council member matter, so specifically I'm going to defer back to you on any of the specifics about the appointments.
Okay, well, since you already mentioned we have a speaker that's here on the speaker.
Patty Whitman. Oh, and I do need to say, we also received public comments from Orange County Fire Authority. We received 2 from the Vector Control District, which I think copied you. And today, I think I copied you on comments from Dana Reed and Akshay Anand from both residents of Villa Park. So I believe I copied you on those, but for the record, those comments have been received.
Okay, thank you. We have received those. Patty, please.
Yes, hi, again. So I think I'm getting the cart before the horse here because I think it's later on in the agenda about vector control and the city council appointments or assignments to the vector control. So I don't know if it's premature at this point to talk about it because it's coming up later in the agenda, but I think there was a proposal to change from Councilmember Miles to somebody else. So that's what I was here to speak about, but I think it's later on in the agenda, so sorry.
This is it.
This is it, okay, all right. I mean, Councilmember Miles, 11 months, she's terming out, and what's broken? Why assign somebody else? I'd like to hear, like, what is broken and why the council feels the need to reassign. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Like, why? I mean, nothing's broken. So I think as a citizen and on behalf of the citizens, what's broken with Councilmember Miles?
Okay, is that all you are prepared to speak?
I think so.
Because right now we are just asking for the public comments. Later on, we will have our council discussion. So I just want to make sure I give you plenty of time to speak. You do have 5 minutes to speak. So.
Okay, yeah, and that's, again, I feel like it was a little premature because I think there was some discussion that was going to happen prior to this, but I'm here just to say, as, you know, for Councilmember Miles, it doesn't make any sense to reassign this assignment. She terms out in 11 months, nothing's broken. Don't fix something that's not broken.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, any other public speakers or anyone wrote in? I mean, besides what you mentioned earlier?
I'm sorry, there's nobody else speaking.
Okay, so then let's move forward to council. Any discussion or any comment or anything at all?
I'd like to make a comment if
Go ahead.
possible. So, I'm really having a hard time understanding why the potential to replace the Orange County Mosquito Vector Control appointment from me to another individual. No offense, Councilman McBride, but it's Councilman McBride, which has been the recommendation. There's 2 letters from the district. I'm just going to shorten it, the district. One that was in November, one that was just in January of this year, 16th. And I am 100% eligible still, and there's nothing procedurally or legally that prevents me from fulfilling this role still. I know that there's been several individuals on this board, which is a regional board, and just for the public, so Orange County Mosquito Vector Control. It is of the 5 county boards that we sit on, that the 5 of us have opportunities to sit on. This is the largest regional board that has representation from every single city and a county seat. So of our 5 boards, this one's the largest. It is something that is impacting the whole entire county. It's not like OCFA where we have maybe 25 because it's just the member cities, or sanitation where it might be just 20. I might have those numbers reversed, or perhaps city schools because it's just the, in the district. But the entire board of trustees, the staff have expressed in 2 letters the importance of maintaining my appointment for this last 2 years. Specifically for the stability and continuity, there's been some, as you guys know, some very big projects that have been coming online and we're gearing up to, and this year is basically the big bang of what we're going to do. Losing the seat right now, it's not the end of the world for them from the point of view of, yes, stuff will still go on, but as indicated in the letters, there's a lot of the institutional knowledge and a lot of, just from the fact, like Mayor Pro Tem Freckleton, I too have a connection with my committee. I worked there in the mid to late 90s when I was one of the seasonal staff for the lab during my grad school. So it is something that's really near, really near and dear to my heart. But it's more about we now, for the first time ever, and I went through public records and I asked district staff, who I know is listening, if the city of Villa Park had ever held any of the executive roles. And so for vector control, no one from this, never, a trustee from the city of Villa Park has never held an executive role on this board. And we now, just in January, I got appointed as vice president, which has never happened. So that's a huge accomplishment. We are a small city. Small cities typically don't get these big appointments on big regional boards like this. It's usually saved for Santa Ana or Costa Mesa or Huntington Beach. So for us, for the first time ever, to have this appointment leading into next year would be president, and I was unanimously nominated and elected with no dissensions, no counter nominations. So that really tends to the confidence and the trust and the relationships that this seat has built with them. So I don't know why we would alter that now, especially since we've never had that seat. And for us to know that we are in this executive seat now, and to if you go through with the appointment of another individual, that goes away. So we don't get to slot in whoever is appointed, and all of a sudden that person becomes, in my role at Vector, that categorically throws away this leadership opportunity and role that we've never had and is an incredible thing for us to have. And I really don't know how we can explain to the residents in the district why we would undermine this opportunity for us to be at this executive table. And this is something we've done as a city. We've done it through, we've won awards, we've had staff help, citizens have done, the campaign when they do the information campaign. So my request to stay on this is very similar to Mayor Pro Tem Freckleton, where, the district wrote a letter for him. He said that he'd like to stay based on your comments that you said that you'd like to stay because you've got some big things coming up. And it's the exact same thing here. I have 2 letters. I know that there were some, and this board is a very bipartisan board, and I know that at least 3 of the board members reached out to you, Mayor Wu. I know that 2 of them had some connection with you, whether it was by the phone or text, and they have expressed what both these letters have expressed, that right now is a critical time, and removing me could be a really big setback for the district. So I think that it would be great if we could continue with this next 2 years. I'm eligible. I don't think it would be a good look, and I don't think it would be communicating to our district other 34 members that we're team players if we have this seat at the executive table that we've never had and we just throw it away. So, I don't know if there's any other discussion. I'd like to make a motion that I resume my appointment for vector control with the utmost respect. I've done a good job. I have 92% attendance rate, and really all it does is put us in a position of leadership that we've never had, and what a great accomplishment for our city.
Right. Comment?
While the points are, well taken, I feel that implementing succession plans in any organization is just smart. I mean, no one stays in their position forever. And so however much we enjoy something, we need to realize that eventually that comes to an end. We can't let ego get in the way, and we need to plan for what's next. We have term limits here in Villa Park. They were voted on by our residents. This is a 2-year position, is what it is. So when you elect this person, they're in there for 2 years. And Councilwoman Miles is termed out in 11 months. And so this is actually the perfect opportunity to have a succession plan, because we do have you here for 11 months, and we do have your expertise so that you can help mentor and help Councilman McBride come up in this position. So I actually think it's responsible stewardship of this to have you here to help him. And, I've spoken to, another board member on vector control. He's been on there since 2016. He has a lot of institutional knowledge. He had no idea that it is a council person who generally takes the term here in Villa Park. So some of the other people who may have spoken in favor don't know that that's the tradition here, and that generally speaking, it is a council person, because it is open to residents and other cities. Their council people have a lot of other responsibilities, whether it's planning commissions or other positions that we don't have here. So they were unaware that generally here, it is tradition that a council person take that job. So I am really looking at this as a great opportunity to have your knowledge here and to help Councilman McBride come up in the position. So that's my perspective on that.
So can I have some very specific direct rebuttals, if you will, for the comment.
Yes, you may just try not to repeat and.
Nope,
keep it
no,
brief.
not going to
Thank
repeat
you.
anything.
Okay.
First off, the majority of the people on the vector control are council members, so I'm not sure who you spoke to or how it was framed. Rancho Santa Margarita is a private citizen, and as far as the succession plan, the district by design, it is not a succession plan type of district. That usually is saved for the boards where you have to be a council person. The state law, and it's listed in one of these, I don't know, it's in one of the letters. The state law that governs this, you do not have to be a council person, as you pointed out, and that was by design. So when you say a succession plan, that's because you usually have a council person that is going to end their term, and they don't allow alternates. So when vector control does not allow alternates, if your butt is not in the seat as a city representative, that saves the district money. So usually succession plans include some sort of alternate, usually, because then the alternate can go and listen and learn the ropes and understand what's going on. But by design, since vector control allows somebody to be in that seat without having to be an elected, there is no succession plan. So that works for maybe sanitation district or one of the others, but it does not work or apply for vector control. There is also, yes, a lot of institutional knowledge. There is a special ad hoc committee that I have been placed on for the past 5 years dealing with this. As you guys remember, maybe you don't, I don't know, but it's been about 5 or 6 years. We are doing this facilities build project, and there's only a select number of people with very specific skills. I sound like that guy in the movie, that are on this, and one of them is me because of my experience in the lab or whatnot. And so that special ad hoc committee is the one that is responsible for this building project, which is coming up to a head, which we're getting to the point where we are finally finalizing everything. And so losing me on that board is one of the things that was indicated in this letter. So there is no succession plan for a district like vector control, specifically because they have the law that says that you don't have to be a council member. And so Bill Nelson is the precedent that happened when I very first came on. Bill Nelson's council term ended, but he still had 1 more year left as his vector control term and was able to serve that with no problem because of this, the law that says it's in here somewhere. But anyways, so it doesn't apply for this one.
Okay, and if I could just make a comment, I'm not talking about succession plan for the county.
I know.
The county vector control, like you said, they have members throughout the county. I'm sure they've got a lot of knowledge, and the way they're structured is the way they're structured. I'm talking about our succession plan here
Right.
on council for good participation from our council members on these boards. And I think to say, like, having one particular council person over another council person is so much better is just not valid. I mean, I think we would all do a good job. We obviously all have our strengths and weaknesses, and you have done a tremendous job. And so that's why I think it would be so great for you to mentor Councilman McBride. And Steve, if I'm correct, I believe that Bill Nelson's second year on Vector, how many reports did the city council get from him once he was off council?
I don't know exactly, but I believe it was only a few, because at one point, for whatever reason, he was unable to attend the city council and did not attend the regular meetings. I think he
I think he
attended a
was
couple.
ill.
So we
I
did
think
not
he
get
was
regular
ill.
reports.
He attended, I don't
and-
know what
Yeah.
but he attended only a couple.
Yeah, he was ill at the time.
Yeah, and so the council missed out on that reporting. And while I'm
Absolutely.
not saying that you would do that, I'm sure you would be much more conscientious. That is the risk you run by not having a council person, because, you know, if you go on to another office or you have another position, you know, we could be less likely to get a report. And that's been the history we've had in the city.
Well, that's not going to
is
happen
that
with me, and you know that.
having-
That's not going to happen with me.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, life gets in the way sometimes and other things
Absolutely.
happen. And
But if
That's-
I was
that's-
not, if I was not
Please
able
allow,
to give a
please,
report,
hold on. Please allow one speaker at a time and just wait until
Sorry.
being called. Thank you.
so if I was not able to give a report, I
Excuse
would
me, hold
turn
on.
in the report.
Excuse me, please. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
So if I was
That's-
not,
If I could, I have next council member would like to speak. Fraquin, please.
I don't know who I'm asking the question to, but would vector control and the council, if the mayor chose to do this, could allow Councilwoman Miles to complete the next 11 months and then McBride take over, or is that not an option?
They won't do that. It's very, because they've had issues in the past, and so the state law is pretty clear that person's on for 2 years. Once a person's appointed, the council cannot remove them or limit them, and it's governed by the separate legal entity of vector control. So that's just.
I think I would have to I think I can remove myself.
Right, and then council would reappoint. That is
Right.
true, but
Right.
council doesn't have that discretion. There's an attorney general opinion on all this, which sort of outlines that.
So also, the one problem is there's a lot of stuff that's happened in closed session that I cannot mentor. And of course, you know, whoever was in the seat, I would try and help. But one of the other things to go in, you know, to justify the fact there is no succession plan for them or for us in this seat is when you first start there, you're a freshman. And you have to put your time and energy in and go to the conferences and go to the different events, and you earn your trust in the relationships, and then maybe you get appointed into some of the committees, and then when you're on that committee, depending on what you do. So there's some people that don't have committees at all, and some that, like me, put the time and energy in. So I know you want to make the narrative that the succession plan for us, but it doesn't matter. If we had a new person every year, that's not going to apply for this specific district. It just isn't.
Go ahead.
I would just like to make the point that this is going to happen at some point. You know, I
Absolutely.
mean, so I don't feel that kicking the can down the road in this case is helpful. Because whether we have, you know, today we appoint Councilman McBride, which gives us this full 11 months for you to mentor him in this position, or if you take it for 2 years and then 2 years from now we appoint someone else and now they're left with nothing. I really do feel that it's most beneficial for us as a city to have someone new and have you here. I feel it is in the best interest of our city to have that knowledge and to have that exchange
If-
that we're able to have. And that's,
Hold on one second. Councilman McBride, do you have anything? Before
All I can say is that, you know, I will work hard for the city. I believe in that participation aspect that Councilman Miles tended to. I in no way could replace her credentials or credibility at the vector control in the first year, certainly. But I would hope to have a record similar to hers that after 7 years that they took me seriously also. I work diligently and assiduously in these positions, both at sanitation, et cetera. So if I'm chosen, I will serve the city to the best ability.
Thank you. And last comment from you before I speak.
Yeah, thank you. So the main point about why it's important now is specific to the planning and facilities redevelopment project in 2026. So absolutely, it ends for everybody. Totally get that. The difference right now is kind of similar to what Mayor Pro Tem mentioned. There's some things that are coming online Me being removed does not slot in the person who replaces me into these positions, specifically this ad hoc committee. So while it does end for everybody, I think, especially with the district, requesting and saying that it would be a major disruption, and that's not, speculation, that is written in both of these letters from the district, to remove me right now. And so what is the city telling the other partners at the district if they don't care about the fact that this is for continuity and stability of vector control? And not to mention, like I said, we are at the table right now that our small city has never been at. And this is something that we've all can go, woohoo, high five. And for us to just throw that away, that's really, to me, I just don't understand how any city could justify giving that up and throwing that away. It just doesn't make sense on everything that we've built leading up to this point. We're in that executive role. I was appointed, elected vice president. We're there now. We have the seat. And replacing me undermines that and throws it away. So I really think if you want to do what's best for the residents, having this voice and being in this leadership role is definitely much more of a forward-facing, we've got Villa Park's back, than trying to put somebody new that's going to do a great job but not going to have the same impact keeping me there does. So again, I have a motion. I would like to be reappointed, and that's that.
Before I speak, Councilwoman Miles is correct. She has a motion. Do I hear any seconds? Okay, there's no seconds, so the motion is failed. I would like to answer Patty's question and also to answer all the council members have spoken. I do believe as a leader need to look for succession for our board. And that is my sincere belief that we should appoint someone else. And also, yes, we understand Councilwoman Miles will be turned out the end of this year. I do agree, and I see it, how she can help Councilman McBride throughout entire year to get acquainted and familiarize how vector control, board works. I understand the vector allows non-council members to be on the board. For me as a mayor to appoint, if I have to appoint Councilwoman Miles, because this appointment is 2 years, the following year you'll be off the council, then in theory, we should open this up. If we are going to appoint a citizen, then we ought to open it up for the citizen to apply for these positions now, because it is the 2 years position. Since that's not the case for the mayor to do that, that is another reason why I feel, I believe Councilman McBride would be good for these positions. And also, we always constantly need to look for diverse of point of view. I do believe Councilman McBride has the knowledge and the drive to do what you do. 8 years from now, 7 years from now, I believe if he has the opportunity to continue to stay on Vector, he would do the same thing. So what I'm trying to say is I stay strong in my belief, and I hope the rest of the council will work with my appointment to approve this entire committee sheet and move forward unless we have more discussion to talk about.
The only thing I'm going to say is I think it's what you're doing is really sad, because you're throwing away something that a small city never gets, and you're not putting the city first, and you've just told the district that you're not a team player. So congratulations. Yes, of course, Councilman McBride, I am happy to help you in any way I can. But what you guys just potentially have done is definitely not in the best interest of Villa Park, especially with the texts and the letters and the fact that you just undermined your own influence at this board. So it's very sad, and I'm disappointed. And, you know, you've just freed up some time for me that I get to go watch some more baseball, which is really great. So, or do something else. So that's it. Those are my comments.
Thank you for your comments, and thank you your appreciation for the board. I think we can move forward. And do I hear any motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve item number 14 as presented.
Do I hear a second? Okay, let's move. Vote.
Excuse me, that passes by a vote of 4-1 with Councilwoman Miles dissenting.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time for council members' meeting attendance reports, starting with Law Enforcement Advisory.
Thank you very much, Mayor. We met on Monday, January 12th, and we reviewed the quarterly crime statistics. So thank you to Captain Timmons, who's now gone, for providing those to the committee. And we're happy to report that crime continues to be low overall for the city of Villa Park. We also, as the city manager mentioned, recently received some pricing information from Axon, who provides the body-worn cameras for the Sheriff's Department regarding our license plate reader cameras. It looks like we will be able to get better coverage for less money than was originally proposed by Flock. So we are currently asking more questions, and we'll be able to give a more comprehensive report to council once we have all the information. At this most recent meeting, I asked that e-bikes be placed on the LEAC agenda again because I thought it would be prudent to revisit this issue. Often, as a council, we pass an ordinance and then we kind of walk away from it. But I think it is important to circle back on these items to ensure that they're working for our community. So LEAC reviewed some of the information that I had gathered from other cities on e-bikes and came to the agreement that we really don't want to do some of the things that the other communities are doing, such as implementing stiff fines. So we did discuss updating our education program that we are partnering with the school district on, and including more up-to-date information for students and parents, since this landscape is always changing. And while this wasn't directly a part of the LEAC discussion, some of the members here on City Council attended the recent roundtable meeting hosted by Cal Cities regarding e-bikes. And as a result, Councilwoman Miles and I will be meeting with Captain Timmons and our new school resource officer, Adriana Vasquez, next week to discuss some recent state legislation and how we might be able to use it to improve our city's response to the e-bike issues. So that will be then discussed at the next LEAC meeting. We also discussed illegal fireworks. It does not look like Stanton's drone program is as successful as they thought, since most of the fines are either being dramatically reduced in arbitration or are even going to court. We are waiting to see how this ends up before committing our own city's resources. However, we are working with the Sheriff's Department already now to make sure that this 4th of July, which should be a huge celebration, is going to continue to remain safe for our residents. And we also discussed getting additional LEAC members, since our law enforcement members have dropped by 50% over the last year or so. So we are happy to welcome John Whitman back to LEAC, which was just approved here at the council. John is a founding member and former chair of LEAC, so we are very happy to have his expertise back on the committee. So that is my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the next up is Villa Park Community Service Foundation.
Well, I can't do as good of a job as Ed Carter and Mark Kulai did tonight with their PowerPoint presentation. They pretty much said it all. But I want to thank both those guys and Birgit Miller for all three of them agreeing to serve once again on the foundation, and we voted on that tonight as well. We met on January 14th, Councilwoman Jones and myself and 3 or 4 foundation members to talk about July 4th being the 250th and coming up with some great ideas. Tomorrow night, right here, the Community Services Foundation meets in this room So if you've got some wonderful ideas, come and share those with the foundation or listen in and hear about all the big plans. That's it.
Thank you. The next up would be OUSD,
No meeting?
Bridges at Kramer Place Advisory.
Thank you. So we met last Wednesday, and tomorrow is, or actually Wednesday and Thursday are the last 2 days to do the time. Everyone counts, the point in time counts. So if you have not ever done it, it's really eye-opening, and they also need the help. So it's a volunteer to go around and you do the point in time. It's a federally mandated biennial count conducted in communities across the county to estimate the number of people experiencing homelessness and unsheltered situations and for one single night or day. So tomorrow and Thursday are the last 2 days, and so I can give this to the city staff. There's a QR code on there if somebody wants to participate in that. And then we had a really comprehensive, quick though, Behavioral Health Services Act overview, also known as Prop 1. And that was really helpful because a lot of times people, this is something that was voted in January of 2025. So this will go in the feeder too, and it gives a breakdown about the percent of money that's going to the different categories and the timeline that is what the Behavioral Health Services Act has followed. So a lot of good information if you were wondering what Prop 1 was about or what it did, and that will go in the feeder as well.
Thank you. The next up is Orange County Fire Authority.
Oh, the biggest news is our fire chief, Brian Fennessy, resigned here effective the beginning of January and has moved on to a big position with U.S. Wildland Fire. Basically, he'll be the fire chief that oversees all the different wildland fire agencies throughout the entire nation. So it's a new job, doesn't exist until now. So T.J. McGovern, who was deputy chief and who used to be the fire chief at Garden Grove, and when Garden Grove was incorporated into OCFA several years ago, he was promoted to deputy chief, and he is now our acting chief and soon probably to be interim chief. And he is an outstanding individual and a great person and highly experienced. I met with him on December 30th before it was announced and have had several phone calls and text exchanges with him, and he will be excellent. Also attended Chief Perkins' retirement on December 17th, and our board meeting was on January 22nd, where the board was reorganized, and we have a new chair, a new vice chair, and now I get to plead my case to be on the operations committee, where I hope to serve as chair this coming year.
Thank you. Next up would be Orange County Library Advisory Board.
I attended the meeting last Thursday as an alternate for Mayor Wu, and it was wonderful to get a tour of the county library's fairly new sorting system. Since 2021, they have been able to have their machines scan books as they come in. The books are automatically sorted via a conveyor belt system, and they go and are lowered gently into bins that go out to each library. So if you check out a book from the Villa Park Library, you can return it to any county library, and it will make its way back to our Villa Park Library. So that was great to see. We were happy to hear a 2025 year in review presentation by Julie Quillman, who's the county librarian, and it was fantastic to hear about their expansion of their early literacy programs as well as their teen reading programs. The last year, the county library served 3.2 million patrons and checked out 6.6 million books. This number doesn't even include the over 4 million ebooks and audiobooks that were checked out. And they also had 774,000 people attend their programs. So really, our county library system just continues to do a great job. Looking ahead for 2026, they are looking to expand their Library of Things, which Christina Jones, our librarian, talked about last meeting. And they will also be expanding their audiobook selection. And they are also very excited to be hosting a lot of historical activities for the 250th birthday of our country. So make sure to keep your eyes and ears open for those events, because they'll be coming throughout the county, all kinds of different reading events, historical learning. You know, they're really planning a lot of different things, so it should be great. Thank you so much. That's my report.
Thank you. And at this moment, I would like to call on Councilman McBride. Do you have anything to report on behalf of Friends of Library?
So as you know, I was underutilized last year for committees, et cetera. So just unfortunately, I injured myself my foot got run over by a scissor lift, and I want to publicly acknowledge our mayor for loaning me her knee scooter that allowed me to be reasonably ambulatory for a few weeks. And fortunately, I'm back, left the walking wounded and back in shape. But I had hoped to go to that Cal Cities, or view it on the Cal Cities Roundtable, but I had a procedure that day. And but I did attend the Orange City Council meeting, and that was worked out very well for our city. And as we said, we tag teamed the whole group there. Pat Buttress was pushing me around, so you know we got it done. Other than that, I'm looking forward to strong involvement in the near future with a number of SCAG and OCOG and the vector control. So I appreciate Councilman Miles, your offer to help soften the blow, so to speak. So I appreciate that.
Okay. Next up would be Vector.
Thank you. So as you know, I was unanimously elected as vice chair. And there was a discussion about the potential of the reappointment. And so from that, and this is all what happened, they asked to submit another letter in hopes that the leadership would understand the importance of maintaining the consistency and stability. So other than that, since it was a brand new January, now they will have a special election for a new vice president. And they will have to also work around filling in now all the different committees and whatnot as they shift. Villa Park is always the last appointment that gets made just because of the way the timing goes. Some of them do it in December. Some of the councils do it early in January. So unfortunately, Councilman McBride, you will be a freshman and probably not get anything that you like for the first year. But that's the way it goes. So, yeah, so we held the seat for, I guess, about 2 weeks, which is, I guess, an accomplishment, trying to find the positive in this. But I don't think that the district is going to be happy knowing that their confidence in the letter did not sway the leadership of Villa Park to continue with making sure that the district was not disrupted. So that's it. So thank you.
Okay. Orange County Older Adults Advisory Commission.
So we met, and as you know, there's, well, maybe you don't know, every year we are required to do an annual report. And so the chair of the committee, which I was chair for 2025, so it's the Older Adults Advisory Commission annual report, which is being presented to the Board of Supervisors on March 10th. But I provided a copy, and this is everything we did, the goals, anything that we accomplished, et cetera, especially like the ad at John Wayne Airport, et cetera, et cetera. So I provided a copy to staff, and it went out in the feeder, I want to say last Friday. So there's a copy here if need be. And then, as I mentioned, several of us on the commission are very involved in the master plan for aging and the priority initiatives. So we got a really good update on some of the other initiatives, and some of the update on some of the other priority initiatives that are taking place. And we should have, let me find my date, hold on, sorry. We should have our first actual resource guide come out probably the 1st of February, and that is something that we've worked on since October. And this is an online resource guide with OC Cares, where older adults or caregivers can go and find any kind of information that they need, from caregiving to food insecurities to homelessness, et cetera, et cetera. So this is still a work in progress, but once that link comes live, then we will send it to the city, and it's something that you should go look at and navigate. And the last thing is, on that one, hold on, I got another handout, I think. There is, here it is. So it's called Same Day Solutions Fair Path to Progress. And so the County of Orange is putting on from Thursday, February 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this will go in on the feeder too, or on the website. And so what it is you can go there and you can enroll. It's for anybody, but it's really helpful because you can enroll for public assistance or benefits or Medi-Cal, get your questions answered. You can access emergency shelters or workforce development. There are links for if you need behavioral health. You can receive potential child support, or if you need your vital records and you don't know where to go. Referral-based resources, and then if you need to resolve like warrants or whatever. So it's called the Same Day Solutions Fair. It's one day, and it's a really great place to go if any of these things resonate with any of you or any of your friends or whatever. And so that's something that the county is doing, and it's like a one-stop shopping, and it helps tremendously because, as we all know, trying to go to the Social Security's office and go to the DMV and then go over here, it can take forever. So recommend that if anybody needs any of that they go to 849 Bradford Avenue, Placentia on Thursday, February 26th. So that's it.
Thank you. The next up is the Orange County Sanitation District. The 2025 strategic plan has been adopted. The plan sets policy for the agency and outlines OCSAN's goals and initiatives for the next 2 years. It ensures continued vision alignment between the board of directors, staff, and the public we serve. The most important for us to really want to know as Villa Park residents who will use TAF often, that construction is continue on, and that construction actually City of Orange is also doing their own work, but the City of Orange is doing their work on the intersection of Taft and Tustin, moving north towards East Taft Avenue. Good thing is they're working nighttime Monday to Friday from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Try to minimize any kind of disruptions. As far as the OCSAN goes, they are continue to moving forward towards us, to Villa Park. Right now on Tustin, on Taft, west of Tustin, they are doing raising the manholes, and the work will continue through pretty much through the end of January, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and they are continue moving eastward towards us. Now, we all can see they already kind of narrow down the street to be one lane by Home Depot. They are moving towards us a little bit, and they're going to make a left turn to Sacramento. So that is continue on, and they will start that project in early February. So just be patient. It's almost there. Thank you. Now we will hear individual council member information items or announcements. Start with Councilwoman Miles.
Thank you. Okay, so had the menorah lighting on 12/17, which is a wonderful event, very dear to my heart, as I am Jewish. I really appreciated Reb Betzin Naomi to come and receive the resolution for Holocaust Day. And then on 1/15, the ACCOC installation, as I am the second VP for that organization now. And then, as mentioned before, the Cal Cities e-bike roundtable, which was really eye-opening and interesting. And gosh, some of the things that we heard, it was quite interesting where some cities completely banned e-bikes for children under the age, I think one said 16 and one said under the age of 12, any kind of e-bike at all. And so that was something that we didn't even know we could do. And then talked about the legislation and potential legislation coming up. And then there is ACCOC is going to Sacramento March 9th and 10th, I want to say. And so I've asked to meet with legislators specific with e-bike regulation. So that should be some really interesting conversations, but that obviously will happen in March. And other than that, the rest, I think everybody's already said. So that's it.
All right, thank you. Moving to left side. Councilman, I know. I was asking you for the Friends of Library report.
The Friends of Library, it's the same. The treasurer and Bill Baker runs a solid meeting, so the library is amazing. And poor Christina Jones, we're going to miss her a lot. It'll be interesting, but I think her replacement will be, she's coming in from the children's side, so it'll be, she'll be in strong shoes, let's put it that way. I think it's into this month, yeah.
March 1st. She'll be, I
March
think
1st?
and it has to retire the way the county system works. To be eligible for the COLA, you have to retire by March 1st. So I think she said that it's February, like this week.
Yeah,
This week or,
yeah.
I don't know a specific date.
Yeah.
But it will be before March 1st.
Right,
Did not know she's retiring. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Thank you. Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you. I was also happy to attend the Villa Park Community Services Foundation Hanukkah celebration, which happened right after our last council meeting. Every year it keeps getting bigger, and it's wonderful to see it grow. And thank you to Mayor Wu for coordinating the event again this year. I already spoke about the Cal Cities Roundtable on e-bike regulations. For USA 250, plans are currently underway for the USA 250 celebrations here in Villa Park. So the Villa Park Community Services Foundation, the Villa Park Women's League, and Villa Park Rotary, along with Councilman Frackleton and I, are all coming together to coordinate all of our festivities. So please, keep your eye on the community because announcements will be coming soon. I also attended the Serrano Water District meeting today, and there was a lot of great information on the water rates that will be increasing. They're going to have another community town hall about the rate increases, and they will be phased in, it looks like, over a 5-year period. So if you have any questions on that, they're putting additional information on their website. And I just hope that everyone has had a great start to 2026. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton?
All right. Yes, December 17th, the Hanukkah was a tremendous ceremony and a huge turnout. I was so happy, and I was nervous that given the horrific events the day or two before in Australia that some people would be hesitant, but nope, our Jewish community is proud and loud and was there to celebrate, and I was happy to be there with them. December 17th, I also went to Chief Perkins' retirement at Fullerton Airport. He had a long, almost 30-year career with OCFA, starting off as a lowly volunteer firefighter just like me back in the day, so I really liked him, and it's sad to see him go. Met with our new acting chief, TJ McGovern, on December 30th, and then met with our supervisor, Don Wagner, on January 8th, who he and I weren't seeing things the same way regarding fire authority, but left with both of us smiling and shaking hands, and I'm happy to say he's still an advocate of Villa Park. January 12th went to the LEAC committee. Glad we have Deputy Whitman, thank you. January 12th as well, I went to Seal Beach City Council to make a plea for my friend Joe Kalmick. It didn't work. January 13th, Orange Council with the mayor, and that plea did work. Way to go. January 14th, met with the foundation on the 4th. January 15th, went to a political event, and I saw Councilwoman Miles there for Don Wagner. and January 20th, the e-bike Zoom, and January 22nd, the OCFA board meeting.
Sounds like you are the most busy person out of us.
No.
So I have attended the Hanukkah celebration. It's fantastic to see, and thank you for getting back on LEAG. Really appreciate that. And outside of that, I don't have much to report besides hopefully everyone will enjoy February, Valentine's Day, and also whoever celebrate Lunar New Year that is coming up next month. So thank you for all your reports. Now we will adjourn until next regular city council meeting on February 24th, 2026 at 6:30. And thank you for everyone to participate and share your thoughts. Good night.